go out and buy any alcohol. But I was like, oh, the one thing like I can buy, you know. And I went out. I'm like, yeah, I'll grab it for you if you pay me back. And I ran out, and I had just gotten home from the academy, like after months of being gone. I walked in and grabbed it, and the guy goes, yeah, can I see your ID? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I handed it to him all confidently, and looks at it and goes, you can't buy this. And I was like, what? It's like the one thing I can do. And he goes, yeah, no, we just changed it to 21. How long have you been gone? I was like, a couple months. So, yeah.
In New York, you can't buy spray paint till you're 21.
Spray paint?
Yep.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
So trying to get people to stop tagging things and do street art.
So.
Yeah. All in all, I'd say good decision that I'm 20 and couldn't buy cigarettes. It worked out.
Oh.
It just means my 20-year-old friend wasn't smoking a pack of cigarettes, so.
Did
Yeah,
we
that's
complete
good. The spray paint was
the
annoying.
bingo grid?
Did we have one spot left? Do we have a
have
suggestion?
a couple? Yeah.
We're only taking good ones.
So power cycle squid going through thruster's hole in the control van. Ramen noodles on sonar.
I feel like that's
That'll
too
that'll
frequent.
be
Yeah,
easy,
we're gonna
yeah.
get that in a second.
Yeah, that's true. Find a man-made target that is completely unrelated to the clipper.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Oh, I
there
like
we go.
that.
Yep.
And
But
it's
that's-
complete. Thank you for your suggestions, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Those were actually
Good-
some really good ones.
Nice ones in there.
I was expecting like some really awful, like atrocious suggestions.
So, Mike, how big or how large do wreck pieces need to be for us to be able to identify them on the screen?
All right.
Well, it's not so much about size, it's more about the shape and how well they're resolved. I mean, if you were to see like a sunken tugboat, it'd be pretty obvious. It's hard to say.
Okay, so it's about materials and shape.
Yeah, I mean, if you you could probably see a tire, but I think the way that you know, some high frequency sonars tires are very apparent, but I think with the heave on this, something like that would be not quite resolved very well.
Perfect. How were the underwater searches conducted in the 50s, if at all?
You're spying on who's
What-
coming up
what do you-
for relief.
What do you mean in the why in the 50s?
I don't know. We have a question about that. So I don't know if there
Like
was
without
a
the
lot
advanced
of
technology?
yeah.
Or
I think there were some submersibles that did some scientific work in the 50s, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Probably that was before scuba was invented, so I think there were hard hat divers. But I don't really know.
Well, what about when the Simone Clipper went down in 1938? What do we know about?
Oh, they didn't have anything that could get to that depth.
They wanted to try to wire drag, but they literally did not have enough wire to get down that far.
Right. What if it had been in a shallower depth? You know,
Could
where was
grapple
scuba at that
stuff,
point?
Yeah.
Again, they had hard hat divers who went down to do some work on the wrecks after Pearl Harbor. So they you know, shallow water stuff. They could get like the hard hat divers down with surface applied air, and
when you say hard hat diver,
that's you know, when you look up those old
like
pictures
that
of dive
bronze,
suits with a huge
bronze
metal helmet.
metal helmet with the weighted boots.
So that was their way of compensating for pressure, and they'd just pump air down a tube.
So were those open on the bottom, and you just had to keep them upright, or how was that? How did that work? Was there like a rubber?
Usually, I mean, they had full suits that would encompass the entire diver, but there were also bells that some people could operate in, where it was open in the bottom. You were just kind of underneath it.
Yeah.
But you're definitely limited by pressure there.
Yeah.
You can only go as deep as your body can take the pressure.
Well, I think there was an issue with. You can only use that down to certain depths because the hose will get pressured, restricted by pressure too.
It's the same thing why we fill a lot of the electronics with oil.
Yeah. Because the air will compress.
Because the hose will compress like when you suck on a straw in a really thick smoothie.
Yeah.
And you can't get anything out of it. You really don't want that to happen to your airline.
Good analogy.
Thanks. That's how I understand things. Bridge, Nav. Request we track a line bearing 189 at 1 knot. You can change heading as needed. Thank you.
Chris, did you change the color of the ship again?
No, they made it more transparent, I think.
Make it
I guess
less
they
transparent.
Okay. I don't know why. It's not like you're going to see any important information through the ship.
Yes.
Oh yeah, did they do that when you were down for dinner?
Dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
God.
obnoxious.
like what
That's just
It's like a
that's
war
wrong.
between
I mean, if the
watches,
ship was a
everybody
lot
changing
bigger,
everything.
you know, and you're going over like some of these target names, you know, you want
Yeah.
to maybe see through it, but you're not
You
seeing
should make
anything.
everything like obnoxiously bright pink right before their watch
I
comes
love
on.
I love when the
That'd
ship's
be
like
great.
so big. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, like the 200 ton. There's been a couple times on transits when we're not looking. So on this, it's
When you want to have it zoomed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's scale 1 because we want to have an actual reference of how far back
Okay.
everything is, where the stern actually is, where the wire's coming down. But on transit, it doesn't really matter. And next thing you know, the ship is 200 times its actual size, and being 211 feet, it gets a little extreme.
Well, I can see wanting it a little bigger if you want to look at a bigger zoom on
Yeah.
your map to be able
Yeah,
to
it's
still see
when
where
when
it
you're
is.
way zoomed out and you're looking at like your chart that's many miles across. You want your ship to be visible.
Yep, nobody's up on deck because it's wet.
It started raining. I think it was coming in when we were coming into Samoa from our last cruise, and it was just this like good heavy rain, and we hadn't had one in a really long time. And so I went outside. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so great and refreshing." No, they were just the heaviest, like really warm drops. Like you really felt like you were just getting hit by this rain.
Dee Dee and Russ and I went diving off of there's a little dive shop that takes you out to like a sunken tugboat just off the coast of the hotel in near Apia.
Mhm.
And while we were down, it started raining, so we could see it on the surface above us, which is really cool. But then when we came up and they were driving us in on the boat, they were going fast, so the rain was like stinging because we were going.
Oh, yeah.
And so we all put our masks on, which is hilarious. But it worked. We could see without getting stinging rain in the eyes.
Yeah. I've had a couple times out on my boat back home where you kind of see the front coming in like we did with this one.
Yeah.
And you see where the harbor is and realize your window is getting closed out. And you just absolutely pedal to the metal trying to beat the storm. A lot of times you miss by a little bit because nature is what it is, but
That reminds me of getting caught in a thunderstorm in the middle of a lake in the middle of the night in a canoe.
that sounds fun.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
It was like battle.
We said the same thing, but opposite.
Yeah. Mine was sarcasm.
Right.
Yeah, I got stuck in the middle of a lake in Maine during a thunderstorm in a sailboat.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
And the wind had changed direction, pushing me away from the dock. So it was real slow going, trying to go back towards the dock. And it's this tiny little dinghy. I didn't really know how to sail at the time, so I was trying so hard, but just really hoping that the large metal mast didn't bring anything towards me.
I'm going to switch the file over to 23.
All right.
Someone is willing to donate to make the Nautilus bright pink.
I don't
like
think that
actually,
that would go. Wait, you mean like actually painted, or you mean on the screen?
I don't know.
I-
I thought it was
I
the
think
screen,
they-
but then
well, because we were talking about the screen.
That-
I think they're
yeah,
saying
the
donate
screen.
paint, like money to paint
Yeah, that sounds
Nautilus
like
bright
it.
pink.
I don't think the OET would go for that. It's
yeah,
not really
maybe
in the color
maybe
scheme.
Dr. Ballard wouldn't be very happy about
So
bright pink.
are you calling this file 23?
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same file when
Yep.
we get on the line?
Yep.
Okay, not going to be a separate term.
How hilarious would that be if you got the entire crew into it and like overnight painted everything you could bright pink?
That'd be pretty funny.
Or it's like you send the ship into dry dock and they accidentally read the orders wrong
Yeah.
and paint it bright pink and they're like, here is your ship. You're like, that can't
That's
be
not
mine.
my ship, yeah.
So is the goal to have Argus like slide sideways to 23, or like
We're just
It'll come in an arc.
Yeah.
It'll get there.
It'll come around, hopefully.
But I'm not doing
before
it as
we-
a turn line because it's not gonna be such a hard turn. It'll be kind of
still readable?
yeah. So it'll be decent data.
Got it.
Yeah, once we start coming around, we are going 188, I believe I called him. If you want to swing
Whoa.
What was that?
Argus
Ooh,
around.
what
this
happened there?
Did it go
IPad
down?
crashed.
It didn't crash. Someone took plan from me.
Sorry.
Was that you?
Yeah. I just put it.
It's no, it's a 50-50. Sometimes he can do it to
I
put
mean,
it up.
it should be able to go to for me to view it, right, on PC4.
It should, yeah. I just need to bring it back. It just slid over the screen.
Oh.
So the screens are like connected, parallel.
Yeah.
So I don't know what causes it, but sometimes when someone else opens up plan,
You also have to go get the
oh, the line track.
the line tracker. Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny.
That's what I wanted to see. That screen. I was trying to find it.
yeah.
Found
I
it.
mean, it's an
Oh.
easy fix.
No, the one. What's?
And we're just tracking. So if you wanna play with it before I rearrange it, go ahead and try.
No, it's all right.
So for Mike, if all watertight doors were closed on the Clipper, would there be some airlock spots?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
If all watertight doors were closed on Clipper, would there be some airlock spots? Wouldn't that slow sinking, if not all blown away by explosion?
Well, first of all, I don't believe there were any airtight.
Hmm.
I mean, it's. And second of all, there was an explosion, so I don't think there would be any. Oh no, there were airtight parts in the compartments in the back actually, but there were an explosion, so I wouldn't expect much of it to be airtight still.
Mhm. And Moya was referring to the screen, not the actual painting.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
think that would be really funny.
But
if
it would
she
be really funny.
contributed to
Yeah.
bright, hot pink paint.
Mm. Someone is talking about having the plank being bright pink.
Okay, but in all seriousness, there's not actually a plank.
No, we're very nice to our interns.
Right. Oh yes,
Yeah, that wouldn't be very nice to us.
I am okay.
Although, as someone says, Nautilus represents for Pride Month.
Ah
There you
yes. Yeah, no, it could go different colors for different things. You know, just spend a couple $100 on paint every time you want to, every month. bright
I
pink
think
for...
painting the boat would be more than a couple $100.
Yeah, it would also probably take about the entire month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's more of a...
I mean, they paint every piece of the ship, and sometimes they're like painting something that I never even knew was there.
Yeah, no, it's like really a conveyor belt. You know, you're painting all around the ship, and by the time you finish, the things you painted first need more paint.
So does the paint help protect the ship, or is it just a...
Yeah,
from like corrosion.
a lot of it is marine-based paints that are meant to prevent rusting, protect the materials, and they usually do a pretty good job of keeping the environment out. Do we know what our method of anti-fouling is on the hull?
No.
Is it anti-fouling paint or
I'm
copper?
not sure, actually.
Or
What is fouling?
Like when barnacles and other
Wait.
things grow on it.
yeah.
I'm not sure. Actually. I believe the underside is painted red, so that's not biofouling.
Yeah, because it's blue, right?
Yeah. Biofouling is usually like that teal, coppery color. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh.
Completely unrelated question, though.
Still raining, right? No. Well, just a little bit.
A little drizzle.
There's a smiley face. Bottom right.
Oh, yep.
It's like Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, some of that's a little funky because I was turning a little bit.
There's some good swell.
I think our heading's coming around.
So right now we finished the grid and we're turning to expand the area of scanning, right? The scanning area.
Yeah, to the to the
to
west.
the west.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they're on their way up.
Oh, do they all just like agree to come up together?
Do we still have any spaces in the bingo?
No, I think we
it's
filled them
full.
all. But there will be more coming up, so
Okay.
if someone has suggestions.
Yeah, we have a
tell 'em-
suggestion about leaking van roof.
Oh, I think we might have actually fixed that. So, but yeah, we'll look forward for future bingo cards. Keep the examples.
We're about to finish our watch, so you're gonna.
Yeah, thanks for staying with us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, and
And bye, Emily, if you're still watching.
yeah. So just to briefly summarize what we've been doing, we're here on the search of the Samoan Clipper, a Pan American flying boat that crashed and sunk on January 11, 1938, with a crew of 7 people, including the famous Captain Edward Musick. And it's now after 81 years that we're able to look for them and hopefully write the final chapter of this story. So Mike just stepped out of the van, so I'll give him your wishes of happy birthday. Welcome to the people in Sweden and Greece, and to the ones that just started following us on this watch. People in Turkey, Canada, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and of course the United Kingdom and the United States. People in Finland, in Germany, Barbados, Australia, and it's time for me to go, but Maddie's here. So good night, everyone, and I'll see you in 12 hours. Or no, 8 hours? 8 hours, yeah. Bye-bye.
Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Alofa.
Gosh, I feel like I haven't seen you guys in like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta. This is good. This is really good. That's user friendly. There's another really user. This is a good one too. Yeah.
So bright.
All right, so what's the latest? What's happened in the last 8 hours?
We're now heading on towards a new set of lines. We've finished the preliminary grid.
Oh, so we finished all 21 lines of that initial survey area?
I think we did.
Cool. And so we decided to expand a little bit to the west?
That's correct. We got 8 lines to the west and 8 additional lines south of the original 21.
So 16 altogether?
Yes, and we're starting off by skipping the first line, so only 15 lines.
Is this our first north-south line? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right, so for those of you who are just tuning in, we have decided to expand the initial survey area. So we just wrapped up all 21 of those lines. We are now moving to survey 8 lines to the west and an additional 8 lines to the south. Dee Dee, why exactly did we decide to expand?
after we finished the 21 plan lines in the original survey area, nothing screamed plane wreckage or anything man-made. That we still are not ruling out the targets that we've located, but while everything's going well, we're going to extend to the west and potentially to the south, based upon the potential drift of the oil slick that was observed, as well as the debris from the wreckage that was recovered.
Gotcha. We had a pretty informative conversation earlier just about how, you know, when we're first starting the sonar mapping, it's like everything that we see looks promising and interesting, and so we sort of mark it. But then as, you know, you all get a little bit more familiar with what's on the seafloor, it's easier to say, oh, okay, this is sort of what all of these geological features tend to look like in this area.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Until we all orient to what the normal is, we were a little overly eager, but better to be that than to regret not marking something.
Better safe than sorry.
Yes.
And looking at our handy dandy little map here, we've got some bright lights all over the world. United States, UK, New Zealand, Netherlands, Turkey, hello. Welcome Sweden, Finland, Germany, Canada, Barbados, and Australia. Very cool once again to see the world lighting up and joining us in the search for the Samoan Clipper. We had a bit of a downpour not too long ago here. Was anybody outside when that was going on?
Yes, it was fantastic. I just wish there was some thunder and lightning.
There wasn't any thunder and lightning or lightning? Man.
Standard winter storm.
Yeah, winter in the tropics. Rough life. Yeah, I was in the gym and it was like a shower blasting on the porthole. It was incredible.
Is the portal still open?
No, it was closed.
It was open earlier.
Yeah, I closed them when it started raining because it started pouring in. So I hope that was okay, I assume.
Sounds good to me.
Works for me.
It's probably the right thing to do.
The paint fumes weren't too bad?
They were fine. Yeah, they were fine. I mean, nothing beats the smell of the open ocean.
Right. No, they just painted. I think they painted in there a couple days ago, so that's why they had them open. I went in right after.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It looks pretty fresh. Pretty bright. Yeah, it's funny. It seems like everybody sort of settles into their own gym routines. I see everybody like coming and going sort of around the same times now. Was anyone listening to the last watch before coming in here? Or you were here?
I was.
Yeah. What it looks like? What is this bingo thing going on?
People. We were creating a fun bingo board for the watch, and ended up taking some suggestions from our audience on what to put in the bingo squares.
Oh, it's like expedition bingo.
Like target, for example.
Yeah. Find a plane is one of them.
That's like automatic win bingo. We've got another one. Find a man-made target that is completely unrelated to the Clipper.
I think that was the last one that we put on the bingo board.
Did you guys actually make a bingo board?
Yes.
This
well, yeah.
So fun. I feel like I missed out. All right, what other ones? Ramen noodles.
Is sea cucumber one of those?
No, that's too easy.
Well, you have to have a couple easy ones, right? Having more than 10 countries logged in, watching live. I feel like that's pretty much every watch. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 countries right now.
Yeah, we ended up, we liked that suggestion, but we ended up making it, we have to have viewers from 6 continents watching.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, let's see, 1, 2, we only have half that right now. Nope, 4. Have there been any promising areas found? Dee Dee, you want to take that question?
So we are, I'm not sure what our target number is. I think it was 58. We have marked approximately 58 targets or features on the seafloor that we need to go back and reassess. We're currently processing the data to give a closer look to those. But nothing at this point that is causing us to stop our survey area. So we are continuing on and added an additional set of lines to the west to cover some more territory.
So I think we are looking at 8 more lines to the west and another 8 to the south. And we just started on that first one. So just chugging along here.
It's a big ocean.
Yeah, it's a big ocean and it's a deep ocean. We're at just over 3,000 meters. And Argus is around 15 meters or so above the sea floor, so I always love coming in and looking at the tabs that are open from the last watch. There's all kinds of interesting stuff, some that we haven't seen before. So here's one, it's musicpointradio.org, and it's an incorporated organization from New Zealand that works to preserve historic radio communications station in Auckland, New Zealand. So it was a memorial radio station named after Captain Music, built specifically in memory. And let's see, before that, before it became in memoriam, it was radio services, and it started in August of 1938. The memorial portion of it opened up in January of 1942.
And I assume they're still active, broadcasting today?
Yeah, I think I'm looking at their sort of log here, and it says 4 days, they had a post 4 days ago that said active on 2 bands using different technologies. Let's see.
Hopefully they've been broadcasting to get online and check us out.
I know, seriously. Yeah, they have a really cool timeline here that starts in sort of going through the history of Auckland radio beginning in 1919 all the way until the 1930s. And some really cool photos too. So photos of this radio station, historical archives, which is really, really cool. There's like, it kind of reminds me of the control van we're in right now with headsets and buttons and a little less colorful, but still exciting. Oh, let's see. Okay, so Auckland Radio closed in September of 1993. But it wasn't dismantled. Someone just wrote in and said that they bought a waterproof Bluetooth speaker and waterproof case for their tablet so that they can watch us in the shower. They're not missing any potential showing up on the side scan. You and us as well. We have these, the live stream in like every common area on the ship. We're all just anxiously tuning in and checking in and keeping tracks. I don't think any of us have brought any waterproof speakers or tablet covers yet, but
but it is currently raining outside, so
Yeah.
that
That
does
is
kind of
true.
capture the atmosphere.
that's true, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Russ, welcome back.
Thank
to
you.
hear
Good to be here.
Yeah. So we've expanded the search area. Do you want to go into a little bit of detail, just sort of what prompted that decision and what you guys found or didn't find?
Sure. The thinking is that now that we've completed our initial survey, that we had to make a decision about where to expand the search to next. And looking at the documents, the Bureau of Air Commerce report and the estimated crash position in there, the latitude is given in degrees, minutes, and seconds, but the longitude is more. It's an even number. It ends with a double zero in the seconds. So it seems like that is a more of a rough estimate. So they weren't being as precise with that. And 1 degree of longitude equals 1 nautical mile. So, an error of just 1 degree would be, would be off on the location by 1 mile, or or if just the fact that the oil and debris as it's being released from the wreck and floating up through the water column, if it's being acted on by natural forces, and so that when it reaches the surface, maybe that calculation was exact for where the debris and oil first emerged on the surface, but that the wreck itself could be further away. So with that in mind, we're trying to think: are there any clues as to which direction, east or west? And the fact that in the historical record, all of the recovered debris and evidence seem to be drifting either to the northeast, or the one other instance we know where they found debris definitely having come from the airplane was the 2 doors to the icebox in the galley washed up on Ofu Beach in the Manoa group. I hope I got that right, but a group of islands directly to the east of here. So, given that, that it seems like the empirical evidence says that things were moving in an eastward or northeastward direction, that we should focus our attention to the west, in order to track these things back to their origin point. So as well, once we do these additional western lines, we'll probably turn our attention more to the south, because again, like the Avocet blog showed that they worked their way to the northeast following the oil and debris trail. So we think that there's could be a southern component in there, or a current, or I think something that was pushing it to the north from its origin point. So, and plus the fact that a southerly direction brings us closer to the shore of the island, and seeing as how the eyewitness was just offshore, we think that anything that brings us closer to her viewpoint to be able to see the level of detail that she reported is probably best.
And then when we're talking about this oil leak, I imagine we don't really know if it was really, really slow, or if it was, kind of all at once, or sort of the rate at which it was lost. Is there a way that we could maybe, put something in the water and analyze how it could have come out? Like do something similar, some of mocking test?
I'm not sure that we could do anything that would really reveal much about, because we just don't know enough about the circumstances of or the damage that was done to the aircraft. So, was it a big rupture? Was it something small? So we can't really come up with a good estimate of like what the rate of loss of the oil or fuel would have been. It only takes a little bit though. Like if you ever visit the Arizona Memorial at Pearl Harbor, she went down with I think something like 1 million gallons of bunker fuel still on board, and it's constantly, there's a constant slow escape of just the smallest drops of oil, but even then, just this kind of raindrop-sized, bit of oil reaches the surface, and it spreads out. The surface area that just that little bit will cover is like exponentially larger than the drop that formed it. So, and it doesn't take a lot for it to leave a pretty noticeable mark on the surface. So, and we know that it continued at least for the next day. There was oil still on the surface, enough so that Lieutenant Williamson, the captain of the Avocet and the pilot of the search plane, felt that the source was coming from the sea bottom, from the ocean floor. But though there was some weather, the weather kicked up, I think on the 13th, and prevented them from visiting the site for a few days. And when they came back, there was no more sign, no more sign of oil on the surface. So it didn't last for very long, but it didn't take a lot, I don't think, to mark the site.
Right, so it sounds like, you know, it's possible to sort of do these mock tests, but it really, I mean, there's so many different variables in what happened that,
Exactly.
yeah, we
Yep.
just wouldn't be able to
Yep.
to definitively come up with a scenario.
Yep.
And then our original survey area was 2 square miles, or just over 5 square kilometers. How much have these additional lines expanded that area?
That sounds like it might be a DD question to me.
Actually, that's probably a HYPAC question for the lines.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long they are.
The current lines we're on?
Yeah, so what is the new total area of the Western Edition?
So the new lines are 5,200 meters long, or about 2.8 nautical miles. And our, well, from line center to line center is 1,200 meters.
And how long were our lines in the original area?
Sorry, how long are our lines?
What was each line in that original area? Was it the same?
The original area.
I think they were 2.
Yeah, they were about 2 nautical miles long.
So our additional lines are a little bit longer than those original ones.
So the original survey was 4.75 square nautical miles.
What's the difference between a mile and a nautical mile?
A nautical mile is 1.1 statute miles.
Oh, why do they do that? Why not just keep it all the same?
Good question. We got into this last cruise about cable length.
Oh.
And how long is a cable?
700 feet.
That's like the standard for how long cable is? Or is cable a measurement?
Cable's a measurement.
Cable is a nautical measurement.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
What does it measure?
700 feet.
That makes sense. We're not talking about the same cable that's running Argus down.
Definitely unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
A cable length is 720 feet. There are 8 naval shots per cable, and each naval shot is equal to 15 fathoms.
Is this on the, like, the marine navigation test?
No, but I should probably add it to the intern welcome packet.
Yeah, that's true. It becomes relevant. It actually became relevant on the last cruise too.
It did. We were just randomly discussing cable length, and then one night we got told we had to stand 4 cable lengths off of Jarvis Island.
Oh, interesting.
That was the official orders. So
it came in handy. So the last watch had a bingo game going. Maybe we should start a Jeopardy game. Sounds a little intense.
Yeah, bingo's a little more passive.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the website says that this expedition is set to go until July 20th, and a few folks have expressed a little bit of concern just in terms of time constraints. Are we at all worried about, being able to eventually get down, or sort of what's the status of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, we would have much preferred to have located the wreck by now and have spent all this time investigating it. But stuff is hard to find, so we're gonna do the work of grinding out these lines and continuing the survey, and we'll keep it at it until our allotted time expires. So. Obviously we'd like to find it. We'd like to find it, any minute now, and as soon as we could. That is our goal and our number one desire. But it's all we can control is what we do and make the best choices we can about where to look and where to investigate and where to explore, and hopefully we make the right choices and we have good information and the wreck reveals itself. But certainly Captain Music and his crew, they deserve to be found, and this crew, they work so hard that they deserve success. But we'll see what the universe has in store, for us.
Right, and it's a good reminder that with this type of work, so much of it is, this scanning and looking and sort of standing by and holding our breath and waiting, right? It's not all that the movies show.
Exactly. So we're gonna do we're just gonna do the work, and hopefully it'll pay off.